Team Junkyard Dog here today, and we're going to do our damage report from Tallahassee at Bot Brouhaha for 2022, put on by Build Fight Fun and Palm Beach Bots. Now, we decided to do this live because I just don't have time to shoot it and edit it and then upload it and all that stuff. So, and of course, we only have a week before Miami SuperCon, and we need to really get our bots rebuilt in the next couple of days. And so now is the time. We don't have time to do an edit. We're going to do it live. And who knows, if this goes well, maybe we'll start doing more lives in the future. But what we're going to cover first. Uh-oh. Well, what we're going to cover first is we're going to go over the damage of each bot. Then we're going to show some of the trophies that we got from our friends and our epic battles that we had. And then we're going to show you some of the upgrades that we're going to be integrating into our bots to make them even better. Now, we had a really great performance. We both got second. I got second in the ants. Carter got second in beetles. Carter he just can't get over mechanical advantage, but he's a very tough bot. Not many people have one-upped him yet. Brooks, you're doing an amazing job. And Tyrone, he always starts out strong, but it's like a lot of work to keep him going. Keeping his weapon blade on is the issue, I think. But anyway, we're going to start off with Gumbo. Carter, let's talk about Gumbo and like your first fight with Rainbow Poison.
The first fight with Rainbow Poison, this isn't the exact chassis, but Rainbow Poison cut off the little supports on the bottom, which holds our weapon up. So we were just clashing the floor over and over with the drum, and eventually it stopped.
Yep. The problem that we've had with Gumbo, like with Rainbow Poison, it happened twice. They cut off our little standoffs on the bottom, our supports, and the drum starts hitting the ground.
And we start losing control.
And then you went on a win streak, right?
Yes.
You beat Platypus, and you beat who else? Do you remember? He had a couple wins, but then who'd you fight that you lost to? Hasta. Sounds like pasta. And what happened with Hasta?
Well, it was all going good. It was all weapon on weapon, like clashes. But then he eventually flipped us and was able to cut off one of the standoffs, and we just started losing control. Then he got hit on our weapon system on our pulley, and it bent the pulley and cut the belt, and then our gearboxes are destroyed, can barely even turn them, and then he got counted out.
Yep. So, and that was his second loss. So he lost Rainbow Poison. He lost to Hasta. He had an okay run. This was a brand new bot. We started with this little bot here in 2018, but we were trying to make our own drum back then. And then we just finally got the 1 pound beater bar and decided we'd try to bring Gumbo out of retirement. And anytime you put a brand new bot together, you're going to find the bugs in the first tournament. So we think we learned a lot, and we'll talk about some of the upgrades. Now, I brought that Didn't Hurt. He's our brick. I call him our strategy bot because chances are he's never going to actually win a tournament, but he can really take a licking like no other bot. And so he's kind of in there to just let the other bots wear themselves out on him. And, you know, I didn't think that he would really be very effective at all. But then when we were down in Oak Hill, Florida, and we fought him the first time in this form there, he actually finished third, which was very surprising because I was like,
2 bumpers.
Yeah, 2 giant bumpers. I didn't think he would go that far, but he was fast and he just kept taking hits. Now at Bot Brouhaha, my first fight was against Tailspin. If you don't know who Tailspin is, if you go to a tournament with him, you're going to know really, really quickly. He's got one of the most devastating horizontal spinners. That thing scares the mess out of me. I mean, it cuts like nothing. This is over 1/2 inch thick HDPE, high density polyethylene, and it sliced this stuff to shreds in under a minute. And I've gone rounds with egg beaters, beater bars, mechanical advantage, and they just couldn't hurt this bot. But Tailspin just cut the thing to pieces. I mean, you can see it actually cut the bumpers off here. This bumper back here is just hanging on by a single bolt. Maybe that'll be my new weapon. I don't know. The back corner here, he actually split the chassis. And I don't know if you'll see this on camera, but where the wheels attached to the aluminum on the inside, it's all bent and warped. And he just died. I haven't plugged him back up yet to see why he died. But I'm assuming since I had a motor wire come off, this was probably shorting in here somewhere, maybe caused a brownout. I'm not sure. Or it fried something. But we're just going to put him back together in the form that he's in. So, Carter, how'd it go for Big G?
It went well, but in the final 2 fights that we had, it didn't go the best. Our first fight, who was the first fight against?
Your first fight?
Yes.
See, you fought Beifei.
Yeah.
I don't think that was your first one, though.
Yes, it was.
Was it?
Yeah. We fought Beifei, we broke the weapon and just went to work. And then eventually one of our screws backed out, which this has been a problem with. It just has been possibly hitting too hard, or the beater bar is just not correct, but they've just been backing out and stopping our weapon from spinning. So that's one of our reason for our weapon continuously stopping, screws backing it out.
Yes, and we do use Loctite, and we don't use the baby blue stuff. We use red Loctite on our weapons, and it was a brand new beater bar. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe the Loctite didn't sit long enough, but it did back out for that fight. And so let's go ahead and talk about your first fight with mechanical advantage, since we're talking about damage here, not you giving damage.
The first fight with mechanical advantage, the first couple minutes or first 2 minutes, we were dominating. We were just we had him flipped in the first hit, and he was struggling to get back up, and we were just grinding his top plate, grinding the sides. And then eventually he got flipped back up, and our weapon wasn't at fully speed, so whenever we went weapon on weapon, damage happened. He flipped a bunch of bumpers off. He flipped off our wheel guards. He damaged our weapon, and then we got trapped on one of our wheel guards. So then we were stuck and we couldn't move or nothing. If we got moved or pushed at all, we probably could have went the distance, but we were just getting destroyed.
Yeah, the first 2 minutes went our way all the way, and we were just saying, man, if this was a 2-minute fight, we finally would have got Brooks, But if you know anything about Brooks, we had him on the rope for 2 minutes. Mechanical advantage is just such a tough robot. We even took our forks off the front, so just for him, so we could get a better hit on his bot. And it's really hard to get a good bite on that bot the way he has it designed. And I mean, we had him on the ropes for 2 minutes, but it only took him about 35 seconds once he got back on his wheels to put a whooping on Big G, and Big G was out for the count, high centered on his own wheel guard. And, that's the level of the competition. So, if you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. So we're just going to keep developing Big G as we go. We have some big changes that we're making for him for Miami. We'll talk about those in a little bit. And we actually earned a trophy from Mechanical Advantage.
This is one of his wheels. He said all of his wheels look like this, and it was just destroyed. Like the TPU that he uses is peeling up, and this was titanium, I think, and this was just breaking and bending. So that was all from Big G. So that went very well. And at the other tournament where we went the distance with him, we got one of these which holds his weapon in from just weapon on weapon clashes and fighting.
Okay, let's talk about your fight with Kilobyte since you have a Kilobyte trophy.
So this was against Kilobyte. He is a
A grappler,
like a
grabber, yeah.
yes, like a Slammo type bot, and he had a wedge on the front, and we just started. We'd go just attack his front, and we'd be breaking stuff, and we bent all the way up on this, and we was just attacking.
Finally landed the KO, and as you know, Kilobyte is driven by the driver of Extinguisher. I'm terrible with names. I'm pretty sure his name is John. And he was nice enough to come over and hand Carter a little trophy, which is double special because it came from him, right?
Right.
And then you had to fight Tailspin because Big G went undefeated the whole first day, and so did Tyrone. Then the second day, we had to fight the final to try to get into the grand final, and we both lost the final and went into the losers bracket and had to fight our ways back into the final, and we both ended up finishing second. But to get back in the grand final, Carter had to fight Tailspin.
And it was the same exact bots for both of us.
And Tailspin is a vicious, nasty hitter. I was afraid he was going to cut Big G up and cut his lowers off.
That's the same stuff as the blue HDPE.
Yep.
But because of the weapon-on-weapon clashes, our weapons broke at the same time, and ours broke because of the screw backing out, because that happened to us twice. So we went the distance, and we won it because of control. But we both knocked out our weapons, and it was just at the beginning it was a fight, and at the end it was a dance battle.
Yep. And we want to especially thank Tailspin for trashing this brand new beater bar that we put on for that competition. It's already getting retired after one. I mean, he literally just destroyed the nuts on the beater bar and was ripping them out. But like I said, we got lucky that his weapon broke right as soon as ours did, and it just turned into a sumo match at that point, and it could have been judged either way. We just got lucky that it went our way and landed Carter in the grand final.
The second time for the final.
Yep. So we're going to move on to Tyrone the Terrible, and you can see that his little Bloodsport, this is an AR400 bar that's 6 inches long, finally fell off. It was doing good. It was staying on all day. I had it Loctited and mounted perfectly. From the last tournament, I learned that I needed to battle harden my motors, and I battle hardened this one, and it lasted the entire competition, which was extremely rare for Tyrone, especially for as hard as this little robot hits. He's got to be, I'm not going to say the hardest hitting, but he is one of the hardest hitting robots in the 1 pound class. I have no doubt. I mean, he's a wedge destroyer. He just does really well, and he does more damage to himself, slinging himself across the arena. But he went undamaged the whole first day. All I had to do was charge batteries and make sure things were tight. The second day, for the final, to get into the grand final, I had to fight Rainbow Poison. When I fought Rainbow Poison, it was just a brutal chopping match. I mean, basically Rainbow Poison and Tyrone are almost identical as far as form and function. They're both horizontal undercutters. He had the Terminator blade. I had the Bloodsport blade. He had just a little bit of reach on me, and he just chewed up the whole front of my chassis, which I don't have it to here because I gave it to him. But that's all the damage I received from that fight. So I just went ahead and did a chassis swap. And then when I went down into the losers bracket, who did I have to fight?
Was it Element?
No.
Oh, no, Baby Beater.
Yeah, I had to fight Baby Beater. And it's funny because Andy with Palm Beach Bots, he's got a Big G. His is Gallo 12. He has Baby Beater. And we have Tyrone, which is kind of like his Rainbow Poison. And that's not intentional. It's just, I guess,
how it is.
How it worked out. I don't know, because we've been fighting these two bots since 2018. But it is what it is. But I kept going upside down and becoming a regular horizontal, and then I was an undercutter. And so when I went in to fight Baby Beater, it's the same thing with a horizontal versus one of these little beater bars. You cut the bottoms off of the chassis,
they go crazy
pretty quickly, and they're just skipping off the ground. And after his weapon was disabled, I disabled his both drives as well, and he was just left and knocked out. And then, of course, that put me in the grand final, and so I had to face Rainbow Poison again. And I was really strategizing like as to what I should do, if I should start fighting upside down and just go as like a regular spinner, or but at the end of the day, I just decided to keep it an undercutter, just go for it and see what happened. He was having drive motor issues, so I was just thinking that maybe he would lose drive and I would just get the win. Wasn't the case. His drive lasted long enough. We had another brutal match. My weapon bar fell off for the first time the whole day in the final. And what had happened was the little screws that bolt into the can of the motor was wearing out, and the screws became loose, and it fell off that way. And then once my weapon was done, it was done. And just as a side note, if you're a budget builder like we are, these chassis have been printed out of what they call Polymax. It's made by Polymaker, and it doesn't shatter and break like regular PLA. It's more like ABS PLA. It stretches and bends before it will snap. And as you can see, there's just minor little chips and things on this, and these are all direct hits from Rainbow Poison. If you look on the back of Gumbo, that's a direct hit from a weapon blade like this that was spinning super quick, and it didn't break anything. It just left a little impression on the back corner. So if your budget, look into Polymaker's Polymax is all I'm saying. It's easy to print, prints just like PLA, but way, way stronger. So that's how Tyrone lost the final. I did have a revenge match with Element 115 Chase. He's just the nicest kid on the planet, but he's a brutal competitor, and he's won several events, and his robot just never quits. His dad just does an excellent job with that robot, keeping it going. And while we were fighting him, I was actually able to capture his wedge. Tyrone was hitting really hard that day, and I was actually cutting through the titanium wedge. Now, Element 15 normally runs a much thicker wedge than this, but for this event, he was weaponized for the first time, so he had to drop weight and went with a lighter wedge in order to try out the weapon. And that's the only reason why I was that's the only reason why I was able to get this, because they tried something new. But I'm sure they're going to have it all figured out for Miami. And then I fought Terminex, was my first fight, and he gets these cut out from Sin Cut Send, and these are AR, I think it's 500, right? AR 500 blades, and I knocked this blade off in our fight, and he was nice enough to give it to me. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm going to end up using it instead of keeping it as a trophy, but super nice guys. The Terminex, Tailspin, those guys, they are just an amazing family. And we just had a lot of fun hanging out with them over the weekend. And then the only other trophy that Tyrone got, this was from Beef Supreme. This was his first weekend fighting robots. And he had a 1-pounder and a 3-pounder, and both of them were very solid bots. I mean, he did an excellent, excellent job getting ready for this competition, for his first competition. Had been in one before. And I think he learned a lot. He's going to be definitely somebody to watch in the future. But this was the top plate off his robot. So thank you for that. We treasure these things because we started in 2018 and we've been punching bags for a long time. And we were finally figuring it out. So we're starting to get a few wins. Well, I don't know if we go that far. We know who the bully is, that mechanical guy. No. But we're going to talk about some of the upgrades real quick, and then we're going to get out of here that we're going to do to our bots. Now, for Gumbo here, I ran a low kV motor. I think this was I can't see what it is anymore. But I think I was only running like 1,000 kV motor on it, and we're going to go up to a 23 or 2600 kV motor. So we're going to definitely put more speed on his drum. It was already spinning fast, but it's going to spin a lot faster. As far as Tyrone goes, I run 1000 kV motors on his weapon too, because I've found, and a lot of you know this, if you spin your weapon too fast, you don't ever get a big bite. You don't get that big hit. So you really need to come down on the RPM some. So since I'm going for the bigger hits, I run 1000 kV motor, and it also is going to have more torque than, say, a 4000 kV motor, because you want more torque when you're getting bigger bites. But for that's what I'm going to do for his weapon. I'm upgrading his weapon blade. I keep having drive problems. My fight with Rainbow Poison, I ran the same motors all through the competition until the last fight, and Andy was nice enough to destroy both of my silver sparks. So I have to buy 2 more from him. Imagine that, right? How does that work? But let me find it.
It's right there on top.
But I'm about to run a 96 gram weapon on Tyrone. So what I'm going to try, and I'm going to test it, and if it works, then that's what I'm going to bring to Miami. But this is a Tyrone chassis with N20s, and he's not going to be that fast because these are only 600 RPM N20s, because I wanted a little more torque to help him get around. And that's all in preparation for the new Terminator AR 500 blade. This blade weighs almost 100 grams, and it's going to be very devastating. I bought 3 of these. I'm going to use it one way or another. I just got to figure out how I'm going to get it under a pound. And looking forward to this one. Andy was nice enough to start stocking these. So if you want one, go to Palm Beach Bots. You'll get one. And then Big G is going to have the biggest changes of all. Because right now, Big G is running the stock, what was it, a 4300 kV motor? Whatever the stock Fingertech motor is. And we're taking it up to 5,000, right? It's a 5,000 kV motor. But he's also traditionally ran just an 11 volt battery. We've upgraded him down to 14 volt batteries.
New beater bar.
He's getting a new beater bar. We're going to rebuild the 2 chassis sides. He's getting new wheel guards. And as far as drivetrain, he has the
Silver.
just the silver gear motors that are brushed, the ones that they used to sell on Palm Beach, and he quit stocking the brushed ones. But I sourced some new gear motors, like the ones he's running are 700 RPM. Now he's going to be running 1,300 RPMs plus 3 more volts in the system. So he's going to be a lot quicker to be able to get those punchy hits. And we're going to increase the number of bolts. We're going to quit running 2 and 2 bolts on the chassis. We're just going to run all 4 on both sides with the spacers to make them stick out a little bit further. So we're really looking forward. Oh, wait. Special announcement. We're adding one to the family. We're bringing 5 robots to Miami. And what we're doing, this will be the grand reveal. This is going to be Lanyap. Okay. Lanyap in Louisiana means something a little extra, a little bit extra, right? And this is going to be our first adventure into
Fairy weights.
Fairy weights. We're going to build our first fairy weight in an effort to try to get that class going again. Traditionally, like all the recent fights we've been to, there's been 1, 2, or none. Or like at Bot Brouhaha, a lot of people went to Target and got some little robots and put spoons and forks and stuff on them and just had a blast with them. This was one of the tires from one of those little robots. And actually, what was it, like 5 or 6 of those little things? Mm-hmm. And they ended up beating Gallo 12.
And his 3-pound.
Yeah. So the 2 3-pounders weren't able to knock out all the mini bots before their batteries died. So that was a win for the fairies. But he's a straight print. We printed 3 of these chassis. And he's just a straight print off of Thingiverse. And it's just called 150 gram undercutter robot or something like that. I actually ran this chassis slightly bigger in Miami for December Destruction as Tyrone when I was running my 4-inch titanium blade that weighed 136 grams. But that blade is just so much mass, the robot just crab walks the whole time, and it's a driving nightmare. But So that's what he's going to be doing. We ordered some 4-inch titanium blades for him. They're coming in from Sin Cuts In 2 days before the competition, but he's going to be ready. And I encourage anyone, if you can, put together a fairy weight. Let's revive the fairy weight class because it's a good entry level class. But anyway, that's all the damage that we received. I'm sure we missed a lot of stuff because that competition was quite a while back. But we're looking forward to Miami. We're looking forward to seeing you guys that are going to be there, our robot fighting family all over again. And I mean, what a great group of people. I mean, we get together and we tear up each other's toys and we laugh and have fun, right? Are you excited?
Yeah.
Who do you want to fight?
Mechanical.
He's not going to be there. He's going to Norwalk.
Then French Revolution.
French Revolution, yes. We have a love-hate relationship with French Revolution. He's beat up That Didn't Hurt a couple times, so it'll be interesting to see him there. Me, I'm ready for my rematch with Spoiler Alert. Back in West Palm, Spoiler Alert and Tyrone had a pretty brutal match. It was great for the crowd, but not great for the robots because ultimately that fight ended both of their tournaments just due to damage. But it's going to be fun. We're looking forward to it. You got anything else you want to say, Carter? Nope. Well, we want to thank you guys for joining our live stream. If you missed the live stream, which I think most people did, you can at least catch this on the replay. And if you catch it on the replay, like our little channel, subscribe to us. We're going to start doing more tutorials and things. We recently got the Snap Maker 2.0, which is a hybrid CNC 3D printer and laser cutter. And we're actually starting to, like, I don't know if you can see it, but we're starting to laser engrave our own wheels and just do some fun little things. So we're going to put some fun tutorials together and try to do things simple the way we do it for some people out there. So maybe they'll get into the sport as well. But that's it. You done?
2 people just joined.
2 people just joined. Where?
It was 3. 3 viewers.
Awesome. We got 3 viewers. If y'all have a question before we go, drop a question. We'll be happy to answer it. We've been just talking about, though, all our damage that we received in Tallahassee at Bot Brouhaha. I was going to do a full video and edit it with music and all that, but I don't have time to do it. We have to start building our bots tomorrow because, you know, it's on the 9th and 10th. So no time to waste. I just want to do this video live and get it out. And it's a good way to communicate with you guys. We're going to continue to do these lives ever so often. And maybe we can start building a community of people who just want to come in and chat and ask questions and tell us how we're messing up or ask us questions on what we have or what we did or what we run. We have no secrets. We share all our info because that's the fun of the sport. We just share info. But look forward to using Tyrone with the heavy hitting 96 gram AR 500 Terminator blade. If you're in the ant weight class and you see Tyrone on the card, be nervous. I might not get 2 hits on you, but that first one's going to be pretty devastating. And Big G, he's going to be bigger and badder. Gumbo, we're not going to make a lot of changes to him. He's pretty much going to be the same with just a quicker spinning drum. And we're actually going to have a top plate for him, I hope, and not something we have to duct tape down. And same with this guy right here. So it's too funny. Who's it? It's too funny. Is that Lizzie?
Yep.
Hello, Lizzie Joe. I hear you laughing in there. But anyway, we're going to wrap this up. It's been a great stream. We're Team Junkyard Dog, and we are out.